Songs from the Yiddish Theater by Joseph Rumshinsky, one of the most popular composers of Yiddish theater music, sung in a Naxos CD by Amy Goldstein, soprano, Joanne Bortz, mezzo-soprano, and Benzion Miller, Simon Spiro, and Robert Bloch, tenors. A future episode of this series will be devoted to songs of the Yiddish theaters that thrived in the first half of the 20th century in New York, as well as in other major North American cities, and songs of Yiddish films, vaudeville, and radio. The Milken Archives' mission is not only to preserve the music of the past, but also to foster its performance in the future. Gerard Schwartz asked artistic director Neil Levin how that might happen.
What about now, looking to the future, into the 21st century that we're a part of now? What do you think the creation of this extraordinary series of remarkable pieces, what influence will that have on performers? Will this great music be performed? I mean, it's a question that is very in the forefront of my mind, because as I listen to one CD after another that comes out on our series, I realize that everyone is extraordinary. And, of course, then you deal with a tremendous history we have, the history of Beethoven and Brahms and Schubert and Mendelssohn, and then you have the 20th century history, and now the 21st. Where will these pieces fit in? Where will they get performed? Who is going to be the champion for these works?
Conductors such as yourself.
Well, that's good. That's a given.
Sir Neville Marriner said it very well when we finished a recording session with the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields, and we had a little discussion, and he said that this was a whole revelation to him and to the orchestra, and they were beginning to program some of the music to which we introduced them, the Vienna Choir Boys. Here's a case where we introduced the Vienna Choir Boys for the purposes of our recordings to music in Hebrew, to liturgical music. And they are now performing it on their tours. I believe they're going to be performing it all in the next couple of years on their American tours as well. So I look even to the future, to 50 years from now, when I'd like to think that even the American label won't be necessary anymore, and we'll be talking about music. When we first started this project, I visited various cities to start setting up recording possibilities. And so when I went to Vienna, I met with an old friend of mine, a pianist, and she's not Jewish. And I told her about the project. And her first reaction was very negative. She said, well, what are you trying to do? The religious music I can understand, but you're trying to do what Hitler did. You're trying to segregate. Why have a separate project for Jewish art music, symphonies, operas, and so forth? Why isn't that part of the general? At first, I was a little put off by that. But then I kind of realized what she meant. And now I've come to say the following. For the time being, we need to do this because nobody knows about it. I would like to think that 50 years from now, the best of this music will be part of the general repertoire and not necessarily be part of American Jewish music under an umbrella. I mean, I think Henry Fogel said it beautifully when we talked to him in the beginning when he joined the editorial board. At that time, he was president of the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. He said, look, I wish that all chapters in American music were being addressed this way. Jewish music in America is a part of the American cultural heritage, just as is Irish music, just as is Negro spiritual music, just as is jazz, and we can go on, American Indian music and so forth. That eventually it should be all part of music.